I got to suspend Draymond Green if I'm running the Warriors. I don't think I have any other choice in the matter with what happened last night. The Warriors were trying to win their second game in a row. They were playing a team that has really been disappointed in my mind, the Orlando Magic. The Warriors were 2 games under. Forget Butler and Curry and Green and Kerr, and they've been together forever, and Butler was supposed to add some gravitas and a third option. The reality here is that during the game, Draymond Green and Steve Kerr got into it. The video shows that Kerr was leaning into the huddle, and you see him focused on Draymond solely. He's sitting next to Curry on his left, Moody on his right, but he's focused on Draymond. Draymond puts his head in his towel, getting yelled at, and then all of a sudden he stands up and he walks away. And we're at about 8 minutes left in the third period. The Warriors are down at the time, by the way. But the thing is, Draymond didn't come back. He didn't come back till after the third quarter. And then Steve Kerr never went to him for the rest of the game. He was in his warm-up suit the rest of the game. I want to explain why this matters, but first I want to hear what Draymond said about this post-game.
Temper spilled over, and I just thought it was best that I get out of there. I don't think there was a situation where it was going to get better. So it was just best to remove myself, that's it.
What caused the argument?
Basketball, it's what we do. We play basketball. It's an emotional game. People lose their emotions. Sometimes it happens. It is what it is. We've been at this now for a long time, So sometimes you with people for a long time, there's a level of comfort, and happens.
I love that. I love that we had to beep that. Did we beep that, or did the video people beep that? So everyone can relate to that, I assume. You're with someone for a long time, you get a level of comfort. That's true. It's easy in a safe space with the people you love or the people you're with or the people you work with to open up and show your colors and argue and love and then make up. That's true. The Warriors have been together a long time, been very successful. All of that is true. It's also true that when you're having an argument and you feel like you can no longer control yourself, that it's best to leave the situation. Now, I've had arguments with my therapist about this concept because I take this to the extreme. Anytime I sense conflict even starting, personally, not professionally, I duck out. I disappear. I put my head between my legs and I walk out the door waddling. No way I'm going to engage in anything that could resemble conflict. Professionally, I'm going to say what I have to say. I'm going to stay until I'm done saying what I have to say. I'm going to listen to what the other person has to say, and then I'm going to move on. And mostly I'm going to forget and move on. But sometimes I can use an argument as confirmation bias for a way I feel about a certain employee or a certain person in the organization. And I can use that as a way to change the status quo, to fire someone, to not use them, to take them out of their position, to not give them as big a bonus. There are myriad ways that you can extract your revenge over what you perceive as disrespect or incorrect action. That's professional, or that's in your professional life. Some people would argue that's not professional, though I would. What Draymond Green and Steve Kerr did during the game last night, I want to be clear, I'm good with. You have arguments between management and players. What I don't like is that during a game, you can't do it on the bench. That's number one. Number two, you can't leave the bench if you're Draymond Green and then force Horford, Curry, Moody, the assistant coaches, to leave Jerry Stackhouse, to find you and go after you like we're at a high school prom. One of the rules we have inside our clubhouse is that when we're together as much as we are in baseball, there's going to be arguments. And I've had yelling matches with players as a team president. GMs have it, managers have it, players have it with players. But we do not do it during the game in the dugout. I've gone down to the clubhouse during games and had arguments in the clubhouse. But the reason why you don't do it in front of cameras is the same reason why you wouldn't want someone to have a hidden camera within your family or at your work. Because then you are judged at your worst moment. And imagine working with someone for 12 years. Draymond and Steve Kerr have been together for 12 years. The average marriage lasts 12 minutes. The majority of people in their work don't stay together for 12 years. You become this team. When he says that this happens in basketball, Draymond said, that it's all part of what to expect. He's ignoring the public part of it and what it does to the brand, what it does to the players. Because remember, players see other players fight with management. Players see players fighting with themselves. And they deal with that in the locker room, in the clubhouse. And then they don't have to answer questions about it. The majority of players would tell you that they're good with anything that goes on during the course of a season, all of the family squabbles, as long as they don't have to answer for it. It's the reason why we insist that players, after they get shelled, like starting pitchers, why you have to meet the media, or when you make 4 errors in a game, or you get the last strikeout when there's a man on third and 1 out, and we insist that those players are there to meet the media after the game. The reason we insist on that is that if those players involved in plays like that don't meet the media, then other players who otherwise wouldn't be meeting the media have to meet the media and answer the questions about something they were not even involved in. Draymond Green storming off the bench and then not playing requires Draymond Green to take the podium at the end of the game. We heard the sound, no problem. But it also requires Steph Curry to comment. It requires every player to be involved in that moment. Does it mean that Steve Kerr is frustrated the game's passed him by, they've been together too long? Don't be ridiculous. Does it mean that Draymond Green is a hothead and no wonder that it's doing this? It's always Draymond Green. He's overwelcomed his stay in Golden State. No, it doesn't mean that either. The ramifications and the ripple effect of the Draymond Green incident from last night, they're done. Everyone will wake up, and these are professionals. They've been together. They'll move past it. But it is telling to me that they could not, at that moment, figure out a way to make it so it wasn't that. Because no one's talking about this today. To the extent that people are doing shows this week, no one's talking about this if simply during the huddle there's a disagreement and Draymond Green voices his disagreement, Steve Kerr voices his disagreement, and then Draymond Green puts a towel over his head. That's called a Tuesday.